I am willing to bet that there are a fair number of men out there who watch pornography regularly, who ogle women and fantasize about women. And, this goes for gay men who fantasize about men, um, who know that the practice is not sustainable, who many of them desire some kind of intimacy or imagine a relationship built on an intimate bond with someone, and they know that what they're doing isn't really working. I don't know how many men have thought beyond that and have really asked themselves why it's not working. We have the quote from Jesus in the Bible where he says, if you have lust for a woman, you have committed adultery in your heart. So, really, when we talk about intimacy and love, we can't separate ourselves from the feelings in our heart. And I see many people attempting to imagine they don't have a heart. Um, they gravitate towards materialistic views wherein there is nothing beyond the brain and the mind is like part of the brain or something. And this allows them to effectively uh, for lack of a better word, surgically remove the heart from the discussion. Now, you can't do that, but you can try to do that. For myself, it's always been a major struggle, to ogle at women and to fantasize about women. But I've always known that I have to deal with those issues before I can expect to have any kind of intimacy. I'm struggling to find something meaningful and relevant to say in this video. Maybe I've already said it, but I think this is just so darn important, and I'm pretty lost as far as all of this. Um, I feel like I'm on a ship without a paddle in the middle of the ocean here. I really believe that to, if I think about how often I fantasize about different women, and I've been in a few relationships where I, at times, would fantasize about the person I was with, but I would spend a lot of my the rest of my time thinking about others, and it felt strange, but I didn't think that I could talk about it. And I've learned that you're not supposed to talk about it. Most people in the world it is so fascinating and strange to me, but most people in the world, maybe you watching this video, think that that is normal. It boggles my mind. And I don't want to be judgmental here. I'm not trying to be judgmental. But when you're with someone and you're thinking about someone else, you're not really with them. It's fairly straightforward. Again, people will talk about, they'll investigate philosophies that allow them to be in two places at once. But if you really take stock of where your heart is, you can't. And I'll tell you why. I once was talking to my girlfriend, and I saw this beautiful woman walk down the street. And in the middle of my conversation with my girlfriend, I was on the phone with her. I started to think about this woman. I looked at her and I was like, oh my goodness, whoa, she's really something. And I found right in the middle of my speech, I couldn't talk to my girlfriend anymore. And she was on the phone and she was like, Theo, what happened? What's going on? You were talking and then suddenly you weren't. That's a perfect example. And what I said to her, I realized in that moment that I couldn't tell her. Or, I mean, I could have, but I was too much of a chicken to say anything. And I felt that to tell her that would mean problems in the relationship. So I avoided that. And I avoided such a discussion for the rest of my relationship with her until we broke up. And to this day, most people don't understand why I spoke honestly and openly about my feelings for her, my feelings for other women. Because for many people, they look at it and say, you doing that, you ended a perfectly good relationship. And to me, that's just so much balderdash. I don't know where to start. I don't want to make this too long, but I haven't figured out everything. But I've managed to figure out that you can't have a heart. You can't be sexually, I don't want to say just sexually, because it's not just. Sex is, sex, it's not like, when I talk about a sexual connection with someone, I'm not talking about a cheap connection. I'm talking about a very soulful connection. If I could, prefix any talk about sexuality here with that, then yeah, I'm going to do that. So what I have figured out is you can't be sexually connected to more than one person. I don't care if you're having a threesome, a foursome, or an orgy. You can't have intimacy if your heart is going in all manner of directions towards all kinds of different people. So that's all I'm going to say. I hope that was helpful to someone somewhere in the world.